Good morning. Today is Monday, October 26th, and it is a Green Cohort Day. Today's virtual college visits are as follows: Roger Williams University at 3 p.m., College of Mount St. Vincent at 3:30 p.m., and University of Utah at 5 p.m. Attention seniors. The senior class will hold both class officer and senior class student government elections this week. If you are interested in running for student government, please email Mr. Dusso by the end of school Tuesday, or see him in Colby 202 during conference period today or tomorrow. Hey seniors, do you have a plan for life after high school? Does the thought of affording college worry you? If the following list of items interests you, please consider joining Mr. O'Brien for what promises to be the most exciting Zoom event of the year. Paid vacation, 100% cost-free college tuition, free worldwide travel, 100% medical and dental coverage, competitive pay right out of high school. To learn more about this opportunity, please email Mr. O'Brien and mark your calendars, as we'll be hosting an Air Force informational meeting and Q&A via Zoom this Thursday, 10/29 from 6 to 7 p.m. Parents are welcome and encouraged to attend. Students interested in U.S. government, our political system, our Constitution, and our history, good news. There is an awesome opportunity for you. Harvard Model Congress is a 3 to 4 day simulation of the entire U.S. government and is held each year on the Harvard campus in Cambridge, Massachusetts. For obvious reasons, this year will be entirely online. The good news is that participation is available to you, but spots go quickly, and registration deadlines are fast approaching. For more information and details, check in with Mr. Weiss in Colby 209 or by email ASAP. Do you have an idea about how to improve your school and community? Are you looking for a club that offers you the opportunity to focus on your passions? SCOPE, which stands for Students Creating Opportunities for Positive Engagement, is a student-led, inclusive leadership club where you design campaigns about what matters most to you. Are you invested in the environment? SCOPE promoted and expanded composting and other recycling efforts on campus last year. Want to facilitate student-led panel discussions about what matters most to students at SJA? Come plan with us. Interested in becoming part of a focus group for alternative arts programs into St. J to get through the pandemic? Want to make kindness posters to lift other people's spirits? You have a unique interest or idea to improve our local or global community? We want to hear from you. Complete the interest survey and plan to meet with us this Wednesday or Thursday at 3 p.m. Email Mrs. Morris ASAP at cmorris@stjacademy.org for the survey link and more information. Hope to see you there. Happy birthday today to Garrett Demers.
Thank you, Sam. Good morning. I have some late announcements. Boys varsity soccer completed their undefeated season with a 2-1 overtime win versus Montpelier on Thursday afternoon. Gardner Auchincloss scored the goal in regulation, and Liam Laidlaw converted a penalty kick in overtime for the win. Boys JVA soccer also beat Montpelier 1-0. Captain Connor Collins slotted the game winner home on a set piece in the 63rd minute to secure the victory, and an undefeated season for the team. Noah Schwanier and Jacob Fucci combined for the shutout. Varsity field hockey lost to Woodstock 2-0. The girls' cross-country team ran at St. Albans on Saturday, all achieving personal best times. In a competitive field of 89 runners, Merrick Hemond was second, Isabella Bostic was 13th, Peggy Fisher 16th, Anya Fannin 25th, Siri Jolliffe 28th, McKenna Krantz 29th, and Adele Bernier 31st. On Saturday, the boys' cross-country team placed second behind U32 in a 7-team meet at BFA. Evan Thornton Sherman remained unbeaten on the season with a commanding 50-second margin of victory. Hale Boyden in 5th, Gabe Hatch in 12th, Braden Anthes in 17th, and Luke Chatterton in 28th scored for the boys. The boys head to Thetford this Saturday, looking for their first state championship since 1958. Good luck, guys. Varsity football beat Linden Institute 14-7. The Hilltopper defense held the Vikings to only 12 completed passes and 1 touchdown. Jeffrey Hoover caught both of the Academy's touchdowns, one from Quinn Murphy and the other from Colby Gary Wright. Happy Monday, everyone. This morning, we're going to hear from Dean of Academics Hank Eaton with more to say about civil discourse, and from Keating Moorer on the harvest of the month. But I wanted to mention that on Saturday, after the football team beat Linden Institute 14-7, the players all took turns ringing the bell at Colby Hall. And when they were all done, including Coach Alercio and Max, the small son of assistant coach Travis Bugby, I myself rang it. At least I think I did. You can't actually hear the bell when you're ringing it. For those who might not know, the bell rope, as I didn't know, the bell rope is in a small closet around the corner from my office near the water fountain. And you really have to give a good yank or two to make it ring. Bells usually have a history, so I decided to find out about this one. And I just want to share quickly the history of the Colby Bell. Colby Hall became the school's main academic building in 1927, the year after South Hall burned down. But for the dozen or so years after that, Colby didn't have a bell tower. That was added in the 1940s. The bell that the tower now houses was forged in Troy, New York in 1860 and was first installed in North Hall in 1872. Then in the 1940s, it was moved to Colby Hall Tower, where it now hangs ready to be rung on auspicious occasions, such as Saturdays. Just think of that for a moment. The bell that we rang the other day was forged before the Civil War began. Probably after that, there weren't many bells being made, since most metal would have been needed for cannons and munitions. And I don't know where it was between when it was made and in 1872, when it came to St. Johnsbury Academy. But what an extraordinary thing to have done on a Saturday afternoon, to ring this. The Hilltopper magazine once described it as a symbol of the transmission of knowledge to students in the campus below, of independence, and perhaps most relevant for us today, of community spirit. I hope to ring it in that spirit many times in the years to come. Now I'll turn the podium over to Mr. Eaton.
Good morning, Academy people. I'm here today to talk a little bit about civil discourse and avoiding civil war, I hope. So this weekend, we were watching football games on the NFL Network and CBS, and a political ad came on, and my younger son, Will, automatically hit the mute button. And of course, I teach AP Government and Politics, so I'm quite interested in political advertisements. And I asked him, Will, what are you doing? He said, Dad, I can't stand those things. They're getting worse. I said, what do you mean they're getting worse? Oh, everything they have to say is worse every time. We've been watching the same ads, upstate New York contest for the House of Representatives. And I thought for a minute, I said, boy, he's really paying close attention. Because when I thought back, it was true. The ads were getting more and more negative. It was as if they were running from two different countries. In this election year, as is true in every other election year, I go to the foundational documents of this country to look back and see what we intended. And when you think about our original document, it begins, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people. And it continues on thereafter. Hopefully most of you know the Declaration of Independence. I got to thinking about that. They're speaking of human interaction, human relations. In essence, the relations of one people to another. And of course, in the Revolution, relations were not very good between the United States and England. 12 years later, after a failed attempt to organize government, the framers of the Constitution met in Philadelphia to frame a new government, a government under which we still live 233 years later. So we could say they've done a pretty good job at crafting a constitution. When they wrote it, they knew that they had to set down rules for civil engagement. And Madison, in his notes on the Federal Convention, wrote, quote, "And whilst he shall be speaking, no note shall pass between them, or hold discourse with one another, or read a book, pamphlet, or paper, printed or manuscript. A member shall not speak oftener than twice, without special leave upon the same question, and not the second time before every other who had been silent shall have been heard." So what does this archaic language really mean? I think there are three takeaways from those rules that we can still believe in today. Number one, give respect to the person who's speaking. Number two, listen to them carefully. Don't have your phone open or your notebook open or your laptop open. Don't pass notes, but rather listen carefully. Third, ensure that every voice is heard, even as they noted in 1787, those who had been silent. Unless we think these are just archaic rules for old guys with funny powdered wigs, today, in 2020, Bedford, Massachusetts has posted rules for their town meeting. They write on their website, "Recognize a person's right to advocate ideas that are different from your own. Show respect for others. Speak as you would like to be spoken to. And finally, agree to listen." I think these are great rules for sustaining community, whether it's in a classroom, in a town, around the state, or around the nation. We should get back to our roots and understand we're all humans, and our relationships are about human relations, and the way we relate to one another really matters. And so I challenge us all in this age of so-called divided politics. In order to sustain a healthy community, let us commit to the following three ideas. Let us commit to respecting each other. Let us commit to hearing each other completely. And finally, let us commit to ensuring that every voice is heard. Have a good Monday.
Hi, I am Keating Maurer, and I will be presenting the Harvest of the Month on behalf of the NHS Campus Committee. The October Harvest of the Month is kale, and the funny thing is I don't even like kale. Kale is part of the Brassicaceae family, also known as the cabbage family. There are multiple types of kale, including curly, purple, red Russian, red lor, and lacinato kale. Kale originated from the Mediterranean region and was brought to America in the 17th century. Kale is grown mainly for autumn and winter harvest as the cold improves its eating quality and flavor. Kale is a superfood and is high in vitamin A and K. Kale can last through the cold months, making it a great staple food. So go enjoy some kale.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.